A cleansing diet versus a rebuilding diet. Dr. Robert Cassar, eartheracademy.com. Rethinking reality again. This is another Rethinking Reality short video just for you to be able to sort of get some concepts in your head. Because it's taken me about, I don't know, my whole lifetime to sort of put together some of these concepts, disciplines, and understandings. So let's go through some different, real simple concepts. Okay, remember, a cleansing diet or detoxification diet. What do you think it is? Okay, that is a fasting diet. Okay, water fasting, fruitarian diet is a cleansing and detoxification diet. A vegan diet is a cleansing and detoxification diet. It is not a rebuilding diet, not a bit. And this is where a lot of people are confused. Okay, a rebuilding diet would be a anabolic type of food source, and that would be because you're going to exercise intensely and use those biological similar types of amino acid structures and saturated fats to be able to build your musculature, rebuild some of your organs. Remember, the liver rebuilds the liver, the kidney rebuilds the kidney when you eat it. Brains rebuild the brains when you eat them. Why? Because that's what brains are made out of, your brains. The same thing. Kidneys are made out of what your kidneys are made out of, even if it's from a goat or a sheep or a cattle. Doesn't matter. Kidney's a kidney, right? Now, a cleansing diet and detoxification diet is a diet that you can only do for so long before you start actually getting malnourished. And that's what happened to me. So these are just important concepts for people to grasp, because a lot of people are thinking that the vegan diet or fruitarian diet is a diet that is long lasting and sustainable for you to be able to have all your micro essentials, okay, all your vitamins, B vitamins, I mean vitamin A, D, E, K, your oil soluble vitamins, everything that basically is in animal products, cholesterol, all the things that we need to be able to keep our machine transferring. Okay, so all you're doing is transferring energy, but nutritional energy, from one layer to another. When you're doing a vegan diet or a fruitarian diet, you're transferring energy, but with very little nutrition, if anything. Remember, the plants are a different type of software program than what we are. We are a flesh and blood. We have eyes, nose, mouth, ears. Okay, we have hair on our bodies. We can speak. Okay, we can do a lot of things that, of course, the software programs of a plant, they can't run, they can't do anything, but they do have a lot of plant defense mechanisms put into the plants that we could use on slow and or little amounts at a time to be able to use these plants as a detoxification and cleansing apparatus. They, in my opinion, again, you guys can do what you want to do, but in my opinion, okay, the vegan diet, the fruitarian diet, water fasting, any of these types of cleansing types of diets, okay, are for short term. It's like trying to hold your breath. You can only hold your breath for so long, and it is cleansing for you, but then again, after a while, what do you think happens? Okay, yeah, you hold your breath too long, and now you start to get hypoxia, and you start degenerating some of the systems there, and after a while, 10 minutes of no air, for most people, that's all of a sudden you've got a lot of brain death. So, anyways, the vegan diet, for a lot of people that are jumping into this, and a lot of people that are jumping out of it, finding out that it is not sustainable. Is not sustainable like you think. And maybe for some people, maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe some people are maybe like, maybe their body's more towards like the herbivore. It's a way of maybe being able to digest some of these insoluble fibers. So when I'm rebuilding right now, I'm not having any fiber in my diet at all. Okay, I'm having an orange right here. It's got fiber in it if I swallow the pieces of the orange, but I'm having an orange right now just because I'm going to go work out. Okay, I'm eating for rebuilding right now. I'm eating what the gecko lizard eats. The gecko lizard eats, and that's a cool little green lizard over here in Hawaii. They eat flesh and fruit. That's what they eat. So remember, in my rebuilding journey right now, I'm rebuilding for so long, and then I'll go ahead and incorporate some plants back into my diet and test them out again. It's not like I'm not going to have plants ever again, but what I'm doing is I'm giving myself a break from oxalic acid, from phytic acid, from all different types of plant defense mechanisms, from all different, you can call them oxalates, that have accumulated in my body from just what it is. When you eat a lot of oxalates and you're not really doing anything else to be able to break down the oxalates, what you do is accumulate them. That's why a lot of people I know, vegans and fruitarians, they wind up getting kidney stones. So that's because of the accumulation of oxalates. So anyways, let's get back to the cleansing and detoxification. Those are vegetables. Those are herbs. Those are spices. Those are resins. Okay, grains, they're not cleansing at all. So you can throw those out in the pile. And I mean, I've never eaten grains before anyways, just because they bothered my stomach. All they did was give me constipation, give me diarrhea, give me gas, give me indigestion, give me bloating. So I stopped grains a long time ago. The greens, remember, are loaded full of oxalates. They're loaded full of different types of plant defense mechanisms. So, like spinach and kale and almonds, certain seeds, potatoes, lectins. They're just different types of compounds in these plants that, if processed correctly, then of course they're pretty safe to eat. But if not, you have to eat them in small amounts, because those plants have poisons in the plants to keep the pests away, the insects away from eating the plants. It's real simple. Okay, seeds are the worst. Seeds want to germinate. They don't want you eating them. So, there's a whole way of processing seeds. Just like, let's say if you wanted to do kidney beans, you'd soak those dudes for 3 days, change the water a couple of times, okay? And after that, if you want to cook them in a pressure cooker. Okay, you can boil them and stuff like that, but the pressure cooker is what actually takes away a lot of the plant poisons out of them. This is how it used to be done. And this is why a lot of people don't eat a lot of these types of plants anymore, is because it takes a lot of time. And we're a species now that is into convenience. They're not really into putting in the time like we used to be able to ferment our vegetables, to ferment a lot of the foods that we used to eat, is because fermented products reduce and or remove the phytic acid that is in these plants. So watch our ferments videos and you can learn how to basically make ferments for cheap, for nothing. It costs nothing to go ahead and make your ferments. And what you're doing is you're taking a lot of vegetables, which you can either cook them or you can get them so they're way more, because once you cook the crap out of all these plants, there's really not any bioavailability of anything in them. Okay, they're just, you've cooked everything out of them. You've cooked all the minerals. So let's say you're going to cook broccoli and you're going to cook it good. The water in the broccoli is where a lot of the components, the plant compounds, come out, and that's why your water's green. All your minerals, everything is out of that plant. So you're just eating it just because maybe you like the taste of it, because there's really no nutrition in it once you cook the crap out of everything. Okay, now it's safe to eat, but there's really not the nutrition in it like you were trying to get when you ate it raw. But when you eat it raw, then it's got a lot of different plant compounds in there, goitrogens and different things. And you can, of course, remember, there is no studies on any of these diets. So don't even listen to anybody with their epidemiological associational studies. Those are just pointers that lead to maybe an idea that this may be possible. Possible, not probable. Okay, epidemiological studies are studies based on usually just associational checklists and factors. So those types of non-mechanistic, non-causational studies are very weak. Okay, and then any of the other studies, just like anything, they're just done with animals, they're done with rats, they're done with nematodes, they're done with different creatures that are non-human. So in time, I guess we're going to get better studies that have to do with humans, and it'd be nice to be able to, again, look, plants are for detoxification and for cleansing. Think of it that way. And animal products, when taken by themselves, not mixed with the plants, they are the most nutritionally dense, biologically assimilable type of food that you can get to be able to rebuild your body. Rebuild your body. Cleansing and detoxing your body, the vegetables will do good for you, but you can only go so long. So be careful, guys, and again, do as you wish. I can only tell you my report of findings. I got the window shut, and so when I do that, I got all this weird dry air in here, and it bothers my throat. So all I can tell you is that there are a lot of nuances in eating any type of food. Did you cook it? Is it conventionally grown? I don't care if it's meat from the food conventional store, okay, where they put antibiotics, hormones, vaccines, feed all the animals and everything, a bunch of moldy crap that makes a bunch of estrogen, okay, in the food. So now you're eating chicken loaded full of estrogen because they're just feeding it vegetables. And chickens, of course, eat 15 to 20% seeds, okay, and like veggie food is what they feed them, 80 or 90% now. And all of a sudden, it's like you think that it's good for the chicken. The chicken is a meat eater. The chicken needs grass, it needs insects, it eats worms. Same with ducks, same with any of these birds. None of them are vegetarians. Okay, maybe a hummingbird, and that's about it. But you know, any of the creatures that you really look into the wild, even a cow eats tons of bacteria, tons of flesh. Okay, flesh bacteria. What do you think a bacteria is? It's a creature. It's just really small. So, you know, you think about all the insects, everything that's on the grass. You take a piece of grass and put it on a microscope and you'll see a whole colony of different critters that are floating on the grass, eating the grass. And of course the cattle eat all those different bugs and insects and microbes. And they, of course, are now ingesting these flesh-eating, okay, or not flesh-eating, but grass-eating bacteria, grass-eating insects. So it's the same with, you know, you look at a chimp or you look at the big silverback gorilla, right? And the silverback gorilla people say, oh, I can just eat greens, and I turn into a muscly, you know, 400 or 500 pound strength being that's, you know, 3 times the strength of a human. They eat 10 hours a day. They eat a ton of insects all day long. They have a different type of chamber of stomach. They have a fermented chamber in their posterior rectum, the cecum area, and this is a fermented chamber. The cattle, of course, the goats, okay, the sheep, all the ruminants, they have an anterior chamber that helps break down this insoluble fiber and breaks down and makes the grass bioavailable by just fermenting it in the gut. So in order for us to get bioavailability out of the plants, just remember, if you want to use the plants more for nutrition, then you need to ferment them just a lot better. When you cook them, you just kill the nutrition, but they're safe to eat. So again, plants are cleansing and detoxificational. If you mix plants with animal products, a lot of times you don't get the bioavailability of the animal products just because you're breaking down the acidic value in the gut. These quality types of very dense proteins and fats that you get from animal products, fish, chicken, eggs, cheese, butter, all these different types of very dense proteins and fats, they need a 1.5 to 2 pH to break these very high quality dense proteins down. So just remember that. So no drinking of water after you eat a meal of just protein and fat without mixing a bunch of plants with them. Try that and see what happens. You'll get bioavailability, maximum amount. can't stand it. I've got my air conditioning on just a little bit because if not, it's hot right now, and I feel like I'm in a steam room here. But if I put the windows down, it doesn't work good in this truck here because it messes up the microphone. So anyways, guys, that's what you got on this video here. Plants are detoxificational and cleansing when you eat them by themselves. Animal products are anabolic. Plants are catabolic. Animal products are anabolic when you eat them by themselves. Okay, animal products, proteins, and fats. Don't mix them with anything if you want to get the 100% bioavailability, and don't dilute your gut wall intestinal acid by drinking water or by mixing starches and greens. Look, you eat a bunch of vegetables with your, let's say, your steak or your eggs or whatever, and all you're doing is you're diluting down the acid that's in the stomach because the vegetables are 80%. There are tons of water in them. So, and then you got a bunch of fiber that you're eating in the vegetables, and what do you think happens there? Think about it. What do you think happens? The fiber goes ahead and actually absorbs a lot of the acid in the gut, and that's what happens there. So if you really want to get bioavailability, again, the easiest way to get bioavailability is to eat the products by themselves. If you mix plants and you mix vegetable type products, then you know what you get? You wind up getting not the greatest absorption at all. Okay, and that's what the typical standard American diet is mixing a ton of foods together, and that's not good. So I feel, especially, I've gained 22 pounds in 6 months, and I feel since I've been eating the anabolic animal foods diet that I have really replenished a lot of my lacking nutrients that I had in my body. So again, I've gained 22 pounds in 6 months. My body feels like it's being super nourished right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and switch back again. I'll switch back to go ahead and going to plants again. And I'll go ahead and go plants like I was going before for maybe a month. And then I'll switch back plants and eggs and cheese and butter. And then I'll switch back to, what do you think? To animal products only. And so this is one of the ways that I feel that I can go catabolic for a little bit, keep myself healthy by cleaning myself out, and then I'll go anabolic for a little while, okay, where I'm going to have the animal products only, and I'm going to work out intensely. And this is one of the best ways, again, to be able to go on. On means you're going to be anabolic, and go off, and I'm going to be catabolic. Because I'm looking around right now, I'm in Hilo, and all I see is a bunch of fatties. That's all I can say. Guys, you're not even slightly overweight, you're bloody well fat, and everybody's got a huge belly sticking out of their guts. Huge belly. And it's about 7 out of 10 people. And it's because, people, you are on a diet that is really giving you a ton of different types of toxicities. Look at the size of the bellies on these people. Again, hi, no judgment. Guys, do as you wish. I just see a lot of sickness. And sickness is everywhere. I'm seeing a lot of people eating conventional foods. And I see a lot of sickness with people even eating vegetarian. And if you're eating vegetarian, guys, you're just eating, if you're eating conventional vegetarian, you're loading up with the glyphosate, the atrazine, with all these herbicides. You're just loading up on it. And if you're eating meat only, well, you're just loading up on atrazine and glyphosate too. Okay, what do you think? Because you're eating conventional meat, which of course is grown conventionally with a bunch of garbage grains. They feed these animals a bunch of food that you can't feed anybody. And that's what happens. Okay, trying to find a parking spot here. Let's see if I got, all right, I think I got a parking spot way up there. Okay guys, we'll see you on the next video, but practice well. Okay, aloha. Okay.